Hi, my name is John Fleskus, and I'm the publisher at Flesk Publications. And this new Franklin Booth book is the culmination of really 20 years. 20 years ago, the Franklin Booth book was the first book that I published. And his art moved me so much that here I was, somebody who never had any experience in publishing, decided to make a book. I had no idea what I was doing. And it really kickstarted 20 years of Flesk Publications. And so now, with this spring being our 20th anniversary, I wanted to work with Bunny Carter to invite her to write the essay for the book, and it turned into something that was just going to be a mere reprint with a short essay to this massive 304-page book with this 25,000-word essay that she wrote. Do you want to tell me about the essay?
Yes. Franklin Booth, there is so much to learn about for artists and non-artists for Franklin Booth. And I think if there's one lesson in his life and his work, everyone looks at his technique. It's amazing. No one has ever been able to copy it. But the thing that he did better than almost anyone else is he put himself into his work, his own life and his own experience and his philosophy of life. So that fabulous technique that was just a vehicle to get his thoughts out there to the public. And I think that's what makes it compelling now when people see it, is they see his philosophy. They see his idea that nature, that man is subordinate to greater forces of nature, even of his own creativity and his own art. So I think that's the thing that makes Franklin Booth's work really compelling and different than others.
And on top of that, you got to learn more about the man himself, too, when you traveled out to Indiana. And
that's right.
Can you tell me about the trip?
Yes, it was great. It was great to see the countryside that inspired him when he was a boy and that taught him about how nature is not really controlled by man, how you need to be subservient and respectful of greater forces, respectful of the earth. I think he was before his time in that. He lived during the Roaring 20s when it was all about celebrity and people and the stars of the day. And he never lost that respect for nature and for art and for, I think, a higher order of things. And it shows in his work.
It's incredible. And I'm also really excited not only about being able to share his work, but everything that you just said about sharing who this man was and about him being before his time. And we have photographs that have never been seen before that are in the book. There's representations of his colleagues and also peers at the time. And again, color works from his magazines, works from pamphlets, books, prints, just everything you can think of is in here. Some of his sketches that he did for an unpublished book that he never got to finish, that he did toward the end of his life. His personal book, The Buildings, which is in here too. So it's an incredible collection, and grateful to you for putting so much time into making this book, as incredible as it is.
Well, it was fascinating, and I think he was a good person too. He was a good person all the way through. You don't have to be an eccentric, crazy person to be an artist. You just really have to believe in what you're doing, to have an honest belief. And I think what really impressed me about him is it's so easy to go with what's going on in your times, to kind of get in the stream of what's happening now and ride with it. And he never did that. And he always listened to his own voice and to his own heart. And I think for artists who have to, especially those who have to make a living, that's really hard to do. And he was able to do it. And that's why his work still resonates today, because we see something in it. They called him the poet with a pen. And I think he really was. He tried poetry. He couldn't express himself as well with words as he could with his artwork. And so ultimately, I think his ideas might have been too big for the words he had, but he could draw them. And that's what's inspiring about him. Buy the book, everybody. You're going to love it. You can edit that out.
Yeah, and here we are over 70 years after his death. And his influence is still in there with modern comic artists and fantasy artists. And it's made its way through all of these genres and through all of the different changes that have happened in the art world, and still as immediate today as it was 100 years ago, really. So it's incredible.
And I think it looks a lot like concept art. You know, it looks like it belongs on the big screen. The way he has the people smaller and the larger forces of nature, or God, or whatever you want to call it, religion, larger than life, and that looks like some of big cinematographic work. But like cinematography, it looks like cinematography, and I think he was talking about big ideas. So also, I think what's important to understand about artists like Franklin Booth is that in those days when he was working in the early part of the 20th century, American art was not really on the map. We were considered a cultural backwater to Europe. And there was a thing called New World degeneration, where people thought that everything that happened in the New World went back to savagery, and that there would never be great writers or great artists come from this country. And what changed were the illustrators whose work was in magazines that were seen all over the world. And that impressed people even in Europe. So that started our country's kind of lead in mass media entertainment, which we still maintain. So it was these illustrators, like Franklin Booth early on, who put that stamp on American art and really made it visible throughout the world. So there's that too.
Well, Franklin Booth's Silent Symphony, and thanks for the title of the book, too.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
And we hope you enjoy it.
Yes.